Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Today we are making king cake. And we're going to get started with some flour in my mixing bowl, to which I'm adding sugar, instant yeast, salt, which refuses to come out. I'm going to give that a quick stir. Now I'm going to add my milk. I'm using evaporated milk. You can use regular whole milk if you so choose. So here's my eggs. Get those into the bowl and get it going. We're going to mix for about 5 minutes before we start adding our oil. That's just to give the gluten a chance to get its mojo working. So here, I'm adding a little bit of flour because my dough is a little stickier than I would like. Bread dough is not as exact as cake. You have to develop a feel for it and adjust as you go. So here's my oil. I'm gonna let that get worked in. Add it slowly. Not too slow though. So my dough is going to basically come apart. It's going to look really funky. It's going to look like I totally messed everything up, but have faith, you did not mess everything up. So I'm just gonna scrape my bowl down, make it a little bit easier for that oil to get going. The dough is not just spinning around the bowl. It's a little bit easier if you use a stiffer spatula than I did here. Learn from my mistakes. So here, as you can see, the oil is just kind of spinning, but give it a minute and it will get worked in, I promise you. You could also use butter, but I used oil. So here you can see my dough. The oil has worked its way in. The dough is nice and sticky. You don't want it liquidy, but you do want it tacky. A dry dough is going to make a dry product. Not pleasant. Here we go. So I'm going to cover my bowl with a shower cap, clean shower cap, unused. Let it rise and make my filling. Here I have cream cheese, an egg, sugar, a little bit of flour, vanilla, and I am going to add a little bit of lemon oil. You could add lemon juice or you could leave it out altogether. Mix, mix, mix. You want that smooth, pretty much like cheesecake batter. So here's some butter, cinnamon, nutmeg, brown sugar. And this is also part of the filling for my king cake. Now I have never eaten one in New Orleans, but I did some research, and so hopefully my rendition is as close to possible as tradition. So now I'm going to roll out my dough and ready for filling. Sorry guys, I didn't have the little baby to put in there because the only person to make one next year is me. So I'm just shaking some flour all over, getting the dough pulled out of the bowl. My little flour shaker, it's just a little can with holes in it. You want to roll it into a rectangle. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to break out your ruler. You just want to get it as rectangular as possible, as even as possible in shape, so that when you roll it up, it's not too thick, too thin in certain areas. It's as even as possible. So here we go. We're going to add our cinnamon filling. Now I know what you're thinking. Certainly she's not going to cover that dough with that little dollop, but watch me work. I'll make it work. Told you. Now here's my cream cheese filling. Now the reason I didn't add more filling was because this is not supposed to be like a cinnamon roll, really sweet. You want it, you know, just a hint of sweetness, because our glaze is going to add even more sugar. So spread that out and start rolling. I did use a bench scraper, dough scraper, whatever you want to call it, to help me to get that going, because my dough was a little tackier than I anticipated against the counter. So use what you got to get what you want. However you do it, just get your dough rolled into a nice little cylinder. Pretty much like, exactly like you would use for cinnamon rolls. So I lost some footage, and you're not going to see me take this finished roll and coil it around on itself like a giant donut, but I did do that, so take my word for it. Once I get it coiled, I'm going to join the ends together, and you're going to see me working those ends together, pinching the dough so that I can seal that end. So here we go. As you can see, it looks like a giant donut. And I'm just trying to make sure I seal it well so that nothing seeps out. You want all of your filling to stay inside the roll. Just work it till you get it. There's no perfect way. So into my greased butt pan, this is going to go. You could also do this, just lay it on a sheet pan and do it that way, but I like the look of the butt pan. It looks like I braided it when I really did it. So I'm gonna mash that in, and I'm going to situate it, get it nice and even, cover it, and let it proof until it's doubled in size. There we go. Bake it till it's done, approximately 30 minutes. Nice and golden brown and puffy. Now I'm going to flip this out onto a plate so that we can decorate it. Careful, it's hot. See how soft and pillowy it is. So nice. Powdered sugar, vanilla, pinch of salt, milk. I'm using the rest of my can of evaporated, but you can use fresh milk if you so choose. Now I'm taking the world's tiniest whisk and I'm mixing this. You could use a much bigger whisk or a spoon or a fork, whatever gets the job done. Mix it well, make it smooth, get all the lumps out. Now as you can see, I'm going to add milk until I have adjusted the consistency of my icing. I want it not too thick, but not too thin. So here's my melted butter. Mix that in. I'm adding a little bit of fresh milk just to thin it out a tiny bit. Once again, your texture, your icing, your king cake, do as you like. Drizzle that all around. This way you have something for the colored sugar to stick to, because if you just sprinkle it onto the king cake, it's going to be a mess and it's not going to stick and you're going to be sad. So now I'm going to sprinkle my sugar. Sprinkle it however you wish. I decided to do little sections of each color. You could mix and match. You could do whatever colors you choose. I'm just using the traditional king cake colors. All done. All that's left to do now is eat it. If you make this, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.